Welcome everyone. Today I'm going to be unpacking the Moment Slate 4-litre camera sling. This is another bag in the Moment Fast and Light carry line, which as I previously said is a series of lightweight carry options but with good technical performance. So this one is a 4-litre. It is a hybrid carry, so it's designed to be either to be used as both a crossbody sling or a waist pack. It uses the same materials as in my previous video with the Balance 7-litre sling. So its main material is a light weave ripstop DWR coated fabric, and then it makes good use of these stretchy mesh panels. Okay, so starting off with the strap system as usual, it's a fairly simple strap system. We have a 1.5 inch strap. It's similar to the normal kind of seatbelt style straps we get in a lot of bags. It's not as smooth as in some, but it's still very comfortable. It has a Woojin quick release buckle here. Nice and simple, effective. And then it has a simple, small pull to adjust here, and then a little elastic stopper to hold the excess in place. The straps aren't removable, so it's just one size. It just works one way the whole time, and they're connected to these little padded wings with a little bit of airflow fabric. Now, speaking of the strap, the first thing I want to point out is that I'm not a huge fan of is this sort of style of strap where you have like the excess hangs out here and you just use a little elastic loop to kind of tame it down to stop it from flopping around the place. I find them hit or miss. So far with this bag, it's been fine. I find that in some bags, if they don't use a good bit of elastic, you know, it slowly slides down as you're walking around and leaves this bit of, you know, floopy hanging around bit here. So, you know, I would prefer kind of a closed loop adjustment, but overall so far with this bag it's been okay. I haven't had any major issues to drive me nuts, but that's one thing to keep in mind. As I said, it can be worn as a crossbody sling or a waist pack. There's no adjustment necessary. All you need to do is whichever way you want to wear it, just loosen it out, put it on, and then tighten it up either on your waist or in a crossbody mode. Either way, it'll work perfectly fine, and there's nothing required. You don't need to change anything up or disconnect and reconnect any hardware to switch modes. Okay, onto the main body of the bag. On the back panel, just like the 7-litre camera sling, we have a mesh padded, airy, sort of breathable back panel, which adds a little bit of rigidity to the bag, just like the again, and I'm going to draw a lot of similarities, I suppose, here to the 7-litre sling. It is a fairly unstructured bag apart from this kind of nice little rigid panel here, which gives it a little bit of structure. Behind that, we have a little secret pocket with our usual sort of slim carry area for, you know, passport, cards, that kind of stuff. It's a very small area now, and it's a very it's not very wide opening, so I would have liked to see that to be a bit wider to allow you to fit things in and out easier. It doesn't take a huge amount in here, so at the moment I have just about barely fit an Alpaca, the Zip Pouch Pro, but nothing else really would fit in there, so it's a very small area, so just keep that in mind. Okay. On the bottom of the bag then, there's not much going on. There's no water bottle holder like in the 7-litre sling, but what we do have, which I really appreciate and actually quite like, are these little bungees. And we saw these in the 7-litre sling as well. They're adjustable bungees you can use for lashing different things on, like your jacket, tripod, different things like that. What's different here, and I actually really appreciate it, I think it's a really good idea, is that these bungees have little hooks, and there's various parts of the bag where you can hook these on. For example, here we can pop a little hook on there, and we can use it so we can change up the style of carry. So rather than just a bungee loop, you can change up the style of carry. There's a matching one on this side, and then also we have the little loops up here. So you can essentially change up how you want to connect how you want to do your external carry. So it gives you a few little options. It's really nice, a bit of extra customization for your external carry, and then you can adjust them with this little, the little hook also acts as a cord stop. So it's really nice little feature, I have to say. Then we have on either side these little wings. So on these little wings we have two little very shallow stretchy mesh pockets. They're very stretchy, so you know you could potentially fit more than you could think in there, but they are very shallow, so it's just something to keep in mind. I've been using it to carry just like sort of squeezing in a bottle of hand sanitizer because it fits in just nicely on there. Now, one thing I just want to say, what I did, and just something I want to draw your attention to, just so you're aware, on this side you might notice I have a bungee cord here. This does not come with the bag by default. This is something I added myself. I just want to be clear about that so there was no confusion if anyone did pick up the bag and didn't find that there. I added this myself, and I took the inspiration from obviously the bungee points on the bottom. This is the connection point for the bungee point, the bungee cord if you're pulling it up from the front. And what I did was I added my own little version of that here, so that when I was putting things into this pocket, I had the option of tying them down. So for example, a small water bottle or something like that, I could put it in there, I could put it in, and you could wrap the bungee around it and then tighten it up and hold it in place to be a little bit more secure. So as I said, that doesn't come with it by default. That is something I added myself, but it's just, you know, a little tip if anyone's getting this bag, it's something you might want to do yourself potentially. There is no dedicated device pocket like in the 7 litre, but we do have this again, as we see here, super stretchy mesh front pocket, which allows you to carry different items, different sizes. It's very stretchy. It is a sort of a shallow, it's not a very wide opening either, so it's just to keep in mind there. So at the moment I have just like a packet of tissues, and the opening is kind of just wide enough for the pack of tissues, a little bit wider than a pack of tissues. And I have a small lip balm as well. It is super stretchy, so you know you could theoretically fit different things in there, but it is very shallow. It's not, as you can see, the depth is about the length of my fingertips, or you know the size of a small hand sanitizer bottle. So it's not a massive pocket. It's got a decent bit of width, and it does have a really good stretch to it. So like the other mesh pockets on the 7 litre. So you know it's a really nice pocket. I really like this idea because it stretches to fit your needs. But again, just like with the previous pocket, like on the 7 litre bag, should I say, it is see-through, so just be aware that you might, you know, whatever you're carrying there will be seen. So keep that in mind when you're packing it out. And then the main compartment, we have a few different things here. So we have essentially a main area, it's a good wide opening. We have a main area with 4 little pockets. They are not, the two front pockets like in the 7 litre are sort of a fixed, they're not a super stretchy, but they're a good size. So in this pocket I have a little hand cream, and in the other pocket I don't have anything at the moment, basically. In the main compartment then I have a Fuji X100 camera. That can sit vertically if you wanted to sit vertically, although it's a little bit tighter if you have a device in there, but it can sit vertically, just in case you were wondering. And then I have a AirPods Pro. On the back of the main area, we have some super stretchy mesh pockets. I love super stretchy mesh pockets, I'll say that continuously. And in this pocket, for example, I have the stabilizer strap for the bag, and I have a power bank. And then behind that, I have an iPad mini. So yes, there is space for an iPad mini. The iPad mini is the maximum that just about fits in, so you're not going to get any larger tablet or larger device in there than that. And that's essentially the whole thing. Now, I will say this is classified as a 4 litre sling. I will say I found it feels a little bit smaller potentially than a 4 litre. I think perhaps because it's taller and less than, it's not very deep from front to back, but it is quite tall. So I think the 4 litres is filled up on a sort of a height rather than a kind of a back to front sort of way. So it doesn't, so to me it feels a little bit smaller than I would expect when you say 4 litres. Now I am probably spoiled by the size of the Bellroy Carryology sling, which is also billed as a 4 litre but feels far bigger. But just from a perspective of sizing, I'm going to put my X-T50 Fujifilm with the 16 to 55mm lens in here, just to show you how much space that actually takes up if you were to put that in. And that basically is a much tighter fit, as you can see. You would lose really the usability of the two pockets there. You might fit something in there and you might fit something in there. So it's a much tighter fit, and you know, I wouldn't necessarily want to try fit it in with the iPad. I can try while I'm standing here, I suppose. Now once you get it in, you know, it's a little bit tighter, a little bit more difficult to kind of get that in there. It does fit, but it's a little bit more, you know, maybe if you switch it around to make the flatter side of the camera fit. Okay, so you know, you can see it's a much tighter fit. Trying to get that in, I would be afraid actually I'm going to burst my zips if I do that way. So, you know, that's the kind of the size wise, the kind of things you're going to fit. It's classified as a camera sling, but your mileage may vary with that. If I had a smaller lens, I think that would work a lot better. So it's just something to keep in mind. I don't think it's necessarily a negative point. I think if you're going to be carrying it, you know, a camera with a large lens like I had there, you're probably going to be looking at a bigger bag anyway. But it's just something to keep in mind in case you were wondering. Overall, with this bag, I actually really like it. I think it avoids some of the pitfalls of the 7-litre with, you know, the sort of right shoulder bias kind of wear option. I think it's very light. It's very comfortable. I was initially concerned when wearing it that the back was going to make it a bit uncomfortable, because I did notice when wearing it that the lower edge of the back panel, I suppose if I flip it around that way, this is the lower edge of the back panel. You can feel that a little bit more in your back when you're wearing it as a crossbody, but thankfully it stayed extremely comfortable for me. I didn't have any comfort issues at all. It's just something I noticed. It definitely fits. You can definitely feel the bottom edge a little bit more. I didn't wear it extensively in the waist bag mode because I'm not hugely into wearing waist bags, but I did try it on a few times to see how it would fit and how it would feel, and it felt good. It felt really good, really secure. And yeah, I think if you do use your bags, if you do use waist bags, you did want a bag specifically because it switches between crossbody and waist bag mode, you'll be fairly happy with it. I really like the bag in general. I love these little wing pockets. I think they're just a handy little feature for small little items or items you want to get to quickly or easily, like I said, like a hand sanitizer or something like that. All in all, very pleased with this bag. I prefer this bag to the 7-litre version. Obviously carry capacity notwithstanding, but I just prefer this overall. I think it's a slightly better thought out bag than the 7-litre version, and yeah, it's good. I really like it, and it's going to get some usage from me. Okay, thank you very much for watching, and we catch you in another one.